Very good afternoon, Dr. Rajiv, and thanks for the opportunity to take part in your course. Going on to the topic, femtocataract surgery has definitely escalated the standards of precision in the premium cataract segment, and I would like to take you by a step-by-step approach. Basically, I'm showing you on one of the platforms here. You get the patient to lie down under the bed and optimally position his head and the nose so that it does not abut on the applanation cone. And there's a soft pit contact lens. Basically, it's a collagen polymer contact lens, hydrogen contact lens, which is placed on the undersurface of the cone. And when this cone docks on the cornea, like it is fixed to the gantry of the machine, the other end is attached to the side port. And when this cone comes and applicates to the cornea, because of the soft contact lens, it's called a soft pit PI. So there is no distortion or deformation of the cornea, no folds. So there's more optimal dissipation of energy and more pristine rexes and trenches are possible. And then you once you have docked, the fluid on the surface of the cornea will expand to the periphery, and you activate the suction. It comes to rest on the green bar, as you could see. I don't have a pointer here. And then you ensure that the outer ring comes to rest on the limbus. The 10mm ring comes to rest on the limbus, and then you position the incision. It should be well within the cornea, not on the arcus, not too inside. Too scleral, it will not open up. These are trapezoidal triclear incision with the outer of 2.1 and inner of 2.3. The two side port incisions are 1.1mm. I prefer to keep it at 60-degree axis away. And then you go on to the rexes. There should be a 300 micron offset from the anterior capsule above and below, and a 500 micron offset for the anterior capsule above and below for the lens fragmentation. Normally, I would keep an 800 micron offset below from the posterior capsule to keep a safe distance. And then you go on to, once you have defined all this, you put press on the laser, and this is the photo disruption which is occurring, which moves in an anti-clockwise direction from below the epithelium to above the epithelium, that 300 micron offset. The egress of this tells you that the capsular rex is over. Then you see that I create a central cylinder of 2.3 and 2 chalks. If it's a hard cataract, 3 chalks. And you can see the characteristic petalloid appearance which is created is because of the penetration of the cavitation bubble through the different layers of the nucleus. And then this egress of the cavitation bubble tells you that this step is complete. Then from the endothelium to the epithelium, the incision goes in. It's a trapezoidal incision, and then the two side port incisions are created. And then you take the patient to the table. The cyclorotation module is available here. Basically, in case of when the patient lies, there's some cyclotorsion of the eye, so you could mark beforehand, and 1 degree movement by pressing on each of these cursors, it could move just a little up and just a little below so that it optimally positioned where it should position. Going on to the surgery with just a blunt spatula, you could open up the main incision, inject intracameral xylocaine, and then you could dry up the side ports, identify those side port incision, and sometimes it's a little difficult to enter, but largely if you're well within the arcus, you could make a neat entry. Then you inject viscoelastic and deepen the anterior chamber. In all my cases, the soft tip, I'm sure all of us, the rexus is complete and free floating. So you could just do dimple down and just lift the rexus and pull it out. You need to always ensure that there are no adhesions, because if you pull, then you would get a rexus extension. Do a gentle hydrodissection. You could do a multi-quadrant if you're unsure, but always ensure that you decompress, because the cavitation bubbles which are already collected need to come to the surface, and more fluid and more cavitation bubble, you could have a blowout phenomenon. Ensure that the nucleus rotates very well, and then debulk the central nucleus as is being done here. And then I would like to eat up that small cylinder which is there, that 2.3mm cylinder. I eat it up, and this gives me a purchase on each of these fragments. There is no phacoemulsification being done at this point of time after the trenching. With the side the chopper, all I have to do is just prise those cleavage planes apart and use the phaco probe in the foot pedal too, so that it just grips the nucleus and does not, there is no phacoemulsification done at this point. then you rotate the nucleus and go to each of these cleavage planes and then mechanically separate it. And the excellent fluidics which is available nowadays in the machine ensures that the anterior chamber is constantly stable, and you're just purchasing the fragment, and you're gently separating. The huge advantage here by doing this is there is no stress on the bone. There's hardly any phaco chop which is done here, and all that is like a jigsaw puzzle. You first ensure that all the pieces are well and are separated, and then you put your phaco probe deep into the nuclear fragment, and then get a good purchase, and then you start phaco emulsification. And the phaco emulsification occurs in no time, because the basic you have fractured the whole nucleus, and just you have to keep bringing each piece to the opposite quadrant and get all the pieces out, as is being done here. Once this is done, then you can go on to the cortic aspiration. Needless to say, the last fragment you have to be very careful, because there's no nuclear support, so the capsule can get trampolining up. And then the cortex removal is quite easy, but initially, because of the vertical cutting of the cortical fibers, you presume that the removal might be a little difficult. You do a good PC polish, inflate the bag, and inject the single piece IOL into the bag. See the rexus. It's a 1.5 millimeter overlap of the cap of the intraocular lens, which ensures the effective lens position. And there's a multifocal lens. It's so much more critical that you get bang on target in metropia, which is what this aims for. You're able to create the arcuates. This is a with the rule astigmatism. The 35-degree arcuate has been created on both the sides, and in this particular situation, it was against the rule, so opposite the main incision, temporal incision, one single arcuate is created. After the surgery is done, the hydration is done, you just open up the arcade. There is a possibility of opening it on the table, or you could do it post-op if you want to titrate it. So the important thing is, if the arcuates are made at the 8 millimeter optic zone, 85% depth, and you should use 5 degrees mode. Like basically looking at the donor field for LRA formula, I do a 30% under correction, and I would try to be a little more aggressive with against the rule and younger patients, and less in the older patient. Going on to the total cataract, the huge advantage with the total cataract is you're able to get a consistent rexus and not one of those runaway rexus or Argentine flag signs which would occur because of the intraluminal pressure being high. However much you may aspirate at every point of time and go about it and do a small rexus. So the consistency is what is a major advantage in these total cataracts. Otherwise, doing the surgery per se is not difficult, but then the pupil has also gone down. I'm just showing, I normally wouldn't stain the capsule. I'm doing it here to ensure that I've got that round rexus, and these fragments are so easily separable, as you can see here. It just further eases your surgery, removes those remote complications or challenges which would occur more so in the smaller pupil. But of course, you should constantly be conscious of the general parameters that you're well away from the rexus, and then the flocculant material just comes up, and in no time the intraocular lens is placed. The grid pattern is the other advantage which is possible in this platform. You can create grids which are 200 to 400 micron width, and largely it's around 300, and the same offset, 300 micron offset above and below the anterior capsule and for the posterior capsule, and then you can see that the grid pattern which is coming. It's an advantage for the soft cataract, and people are used to it, use it for the hard cataract, but I prefer to use my cylinders and chops. And if it's a very soft cataract, once you have removed the rexus, you could actually go on to the flip mode which is available in the Centurion and flip out the whole nucleus and eat it up. But in this particular situation, I have gone in and just removed the rexus and separated, and then gone about doing the phacoemulsification in a routine fashion. This is a small pupil situation. This was a case with a toric IOL implant was planned. The axis, incision axis was 161, 169, and this is how this was optimally possible because the Varion overlay which is there. And then look at the rexus. Normally I have a 4.9 millimeter rexus, but here I've downsized to 4.1, and it was a very shallow eye. So the huge advantage is the wound construction, getting a small rexus and a toric IOL was all possible. This is the last video, was all possible. And going on to the surgery moves in the routine fashion, but only thing you need to ensure the fragmentation is done. And this Varion overlay which comes ensures that you get that axis, toric IOL implantation axis would come on once you've removed the cataract. And move it faster. And then once you've placed intraocular lens, with the overlay of the IOL axis, you could position it finally, remove the viscoelastic and form the anterior chamber. You could go on and on, but I would like to conclude because of the paucity of time to tell you that laser diffractive cataract surgery has a role to play in all the difficult situations and definitely is a paradigm shift to excellence. Thank you.
Thank you, Chitra. An excellent presentation.